Welcome back to Tweener Heads. Welcome back to another. We're going inside the mind of a professional tennis coach, and we're going to break down what coaches look for in their opponent when they go through some film, which is something that Beau and Brandon have been working on for some time now on tour. So Beau, why don't we get into it and kind of talk about what you are looking for when it comes to his first round opponent, which is Vesely.
Yeah, I mean, every match, right? We have a game plan, and we have sort of like basic ways that Brandon wins matches, his strengths and his weaknesses, and so his overall strategy is most of the time going to be the same, and we try to find out ways to fit those into each opponent.
Okay.
Right? So like what I'll do is I'll make a video here, and then we'll just watch sort of certain points that his opponent might play, right? So here's about taking that backhand early, and he gets on you right away, and then he's dictating, right? So like one thing that can show you is that putting an emphasis on getting that return deep. Easier said than done.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it puts it in your head that if you feel like you don't make good contact, you know right away to be on defense.
Gotcha.
Right? So that you can already be anticipating, and I think that's one thing Brandon does so well is he anticipates, because he doesn't necessarily seem like the fastest guy around the court, but he's kind of always there.
Okay.
So I think like putting that in the player's head gives him a sense of, I know what's coming if the other guy plays well, and I know what's coming if the other guy plays poorly.
Okay.
So you're kind of out there prepared for it.
Okay.
And we can just keep watching through. It goes pretty quick here.
Okay.
And it's just a bunch of small little clips of things that we look for in his game. Like here. So I can play that back. This whole point would be setting up just looking at Hercox, imagining that Brandon is him, and that this backhand, that ball off Vesely's forehand, can sit there and you can dictate.
Okay.
Right? So we're looking at just that one ball that might potentially come off of his racket with a little bit more shape. That's the one.
So you're not only looking at your opponent, you're taking the points that his opponent won at the time and using that as kind of a outline for what Brandon can do in his next match.
100%.
Okay.
100%. And so we're like, you're not necessarily just playing the backhand because the backhand is weaker than the forehand or something, but you're looking at the shape of the ball that comes off his racket, and like Vesely has such a flat backhand, right? So that's going to be tricky. Like you don't necessarily want to pick on the backhand because that ball that his backhand hits is weird. Yeah. Whereas his forehand's the bigger weapon, but it's a little bit more shape, and if you like it kind of chest high, you'd a little bit rather deal with that, So you can kind of like build in where you want to be playing in these neutral points. And Brandon's already kind of, again, just anticipating, and really just kind of looking for that opportunity. But I think if you play most of your shots to the spot that should give you the opportunity, you'll get more opportunities, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's subtle, but that's kind of all we're doing. And he might serve in volley. So just getting these clips for Brandon to be aware of, and obviously we take care of all the things like, where does he serve on big points? Where does he serve at deuce? Where does he return when it's at in? All those kind of things for sure we've got. But this kind of, it's not, it's analysis, right? But it's also kind of just getting used to what might come. Okay. That's a big part of it at this level where it's so much about execution, and, especially executing 3 or 4 shots in a match can change it. And the opportunities at this level, you'd like to take them all,
So with this kind of footage, do you look at his footage as well and go through it after every match, or is it just more basis on his opponent?
No, I do. I watch all of his matches back again, and then we'll talk about it. He's very smart. He manages himself well on the court. Like if you talk to him after the match, he knows exactly what happened at 3-all, 15-30. Okay. So I don't really show him the whole match, but if there's just a few things that I see, maybe you could have gone in behind this ball or taken it cross instead of line because you're getting more short balls if you go cross, right? Just little things like that, and then that's what kind of our practices are. Okay. Is working in some of those things that we think we can improve from the match right into practice, and then matches are 50-50 about Brandon's strengths and playing the opponent's weaknesses,
Yeah, so when you break down the footage after a match, do you go back and watch the entire match, or do you do something where you take clips of it and kind of emphasize those to make sure that you're getting the point across more, or do you watch the match entirely?
Well, I watch the match entirely.
Okay.
And Brandon does too. He watches a lot of film of himself. But then I'll just cut up points.
Okay.
And then so maybe we would look at, a whole match is something like less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Of just clips together. Sometimes it's 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's tiny. Like we have stuff from last week in Cleveland. He played Red Licky, right? And it was tough. But then there was just this one shot that I thought he wasn't maybe playing properly.
Yeah.
And so I just cut up, hey, look, you did this 10 times. Mm-hmm. Let's try to do it this other way.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's easy, and I think it really helps. Like, it really helped me when I was playing to see myself play.
Okay.
And then make the adjustment rather than just someone telling you, like, hey, I think you could take that ball earlier.
Okay.
Now it's like, it's not really my opinion.
Okay.
It's
more factual.
Yeah, it's just like, look, I think you have that shot. You could hit that. You should hit that.
Mm-hmm.
It's in your favor if you hit that. Let's do it. And I think it really helps the players see and then make the adjustments literally match to match. Here's something about Vesley's backhand pass, right?
Yeah.
So they're like a big thing for me is always approaching to the backhand, right?
Yeah.
Because I know what percentage of those points you're going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And like, here's an average approach at this level.
Yeah.
And it goes in the net. Like, sure, he almost made it, but he didn't.
Okay.
And almost doesn't count.
Yeah.
So like, instead of maybe getting to this position and thinking like, let's see, right, as it plays. So here you get this short ball. It's not really a short ball, but there, like from that position, right, there's so many options.
Mm-hmm.
And it's easy as a player to think like, okay, maybe I'm going to like roll it short angle inside out or like blast it deep inside, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But if you match up that you're going to win, 79% of points against a backhand pass, it makes it clear in his head, hey, I'm not going to go looking for that kind of miracle when if I just hit this average ball, I'm going to win.
Yeah. So when was the first time you started using video? Because you said you watched yourself a little bit in the past. When do you think was the moment you said, okay, this is what I need to do to not only improve my game, but to improve Brandon's game?
Yeah, I mean, it was when I was playing Futures and I tore my bicep. I was out for like 19 months, and that's when we met. Mm-hmm. And I was just playing with my own money, and I'm 6 feet tall with a one-handed backhand, and I'm not amazing, so I was like, hey, I need to have a strategy. Because like, I can't play like Fed. Like, I can't just watch Tommy Haas and be like, oh, I'll do that. Yeah. So I was just thinking like, okay, I need to find out a way to be smarter, and that's how I just started watching it. And I got pretty obsessed, I would say, like
really just dived right in.
I mean, over 800 matches for sure.
Wow.
Where every ball lands, and so I know all the percentages of like what you're going to win against a forehand or a backhand pass, or where you're going to serve at break point, or what your odds are to get a short ball on the return. Yeah. So like things like that, and then you're kind of out here and playing a bit more mathematically, a bit more calculated with the same ball. Yeah. Because I do think like Futures guys, I think Futures guys with the right coaching, if they hit the ball well enough, could be here. Yeah. But a lot of them, they don't have any coaching, and they're just out there kind of like doing whatever they're doing. But there's so many guys with the fitness and the ball quality to be able to last. And I just think like if they thought about it a little bit more, but who has the time to watch these matches and break it down, right? Sure. But at that time I did. And then so I've used this type of, analysis and watching film with a bunch of guys that I've coached. And it just so happens that, Brandon plays at this level and he can take the information and use it, since I've gotten into the coaching side. And that's where like I also have probably a bit of a different theory. Like I don't really talk about technique that much. I think if you hit the ball well enough, like, it works. Like all of these guys do, whatever kind of weird thing you have in your backhand, it's probably fine. Yeah. And if we just made a couple better decisions throughout a match, maybe you skyrocket, It just depends. Yeah. I think it's all up for grabs, right? Like stats are right, technique is right, all that stuff. I think because I'm still think a little bit like a player probably. Yeah. I know what it's like to like miss a ball and have somebody be like, gotta drop your racket head a little. It's like, dude, come on. Sometimes, right? Yeah, sometimes. But for the majority of the part, I see what you're saying. It's as long as you have a good shot that works and it doesn't really have to, you don't have to tweak it technically. Yeah. If it works, it works. Sock is, I think, the greatest example that everyone uses. Doesn't matter how you hold it. Right. If it's efficient, it's efficient. Yeah.
So let's do one more breakdown of Vesley's game plan.
Let's see. I think we talked about this one.
We did talk about this one a little bit. Go towards when he played Humbert, like towards the end.
So here's Humbert serving it at deuce, right?
Yeah.
So Vesley puts that forehand return just back through the middle. And then the thing is, if you leave that ball sitting, right? Sorry, you may start over.
No, it's okay.
If you, right, so here it is at deuce.
Yeah.
So you know that Vesley's going to be thinking, let me just get neutral.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing to know when you step up to that line. That,
yeah.
Hey, I don't need a massive serve here. And I could just make the first serve. I know that's kind of like, no one's out here just making balls.
Yeah.
But like making your first serve is big, especially at deuce. So you know already he's most likely going to try to just be neutral.
Yeah.
So it's all good, right? You kind of relax there.
Yeah.
He does neutralize, and then that ball right there, right, that Humbert leaves short is over.
Yeah.
You
so
know?
with it within 5 to 10 feet of the service line, you know his forehand's just going to be dominant. So that's just something to remember or just
to be aware of. You don't. It's not that you're not going to make that error.
Yeah.
You're going to leave balls short, but it's knowing like maybe all right, instead of taking this ball, let's say you got to leave it short, right?
Yeah.
You're going to leave it short.
Yeah.
Why not play it cross and let his backhand do that?
Yeah.
Because I bet his backhand probably can't.
Yeah.
Maybe it can.
Yeah.
Right? But his forehand definitely can, and we know that.
Yeah.
So instead of like getting burned by his forehand,
okay,
let's go out there and get burned by his backhand.
Yeah.
You know, and then
just
it's
to
like,
force it.
Yeah. It's okay. Too good then today.
Yeah.
You know, but not that many guys are going to be able to beat you with their weaker shot.
Yeah.
Because it's all of our weaker shot, more or less.
Yeah.
Our backhand. You know, so it's like.
Sure.
It's more so a mental thing of just knowing like, okay, you know you're playing it right, and you're playing the like most of your balls into his weaker side, and if that somehow isn't good enough, okay,
awesome,
too good, you know.
Yeah. Hey Brandon, do you have anything to add? Do you want to come up here and say it in the microphone?
No, I don't have anything to say.
Do you think you did a good job explaining?
I mean, I wasn't listening for the most part.
Thanks. This is the guy that said, "Oh, I want to be a part of this," and then we say, "Do you want to be in it?" No, I'm good. So thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I'll leave all the links to Brandon's, Beau's, everyone's Instagrams and socials down in the description below. Definitely check them out. And definitely check out Brandon. He's playing, or has played, by the time you're watching this, his match. So cross your fingers, and I hope to see you guys next time. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.